In this video, I'll go through the exercises I use with my patients who are in the advanced stage of rehab after undergoing a Bankart repair to the shoulder. Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. So a Bankart repair is a surgical procedure that's done to the shoulder when some of the anterior or front structures of the shoulder have been torn. And this is usually the result of a dislocation. Now rehab after this surgery has to progress pretty slowly and pretty carefully to avoid tearing the repair. So we generally divide rehab into 3 stages: immediate post-op stage, intermediate post-op stage, and advanced post-op stage. So this video is about the exercises that I usually use in that advanced stage. So at this stage, we don't have to restrict movement very much, and we can progress strengthening a little more aggressively. So I'll go through the exercises I like most at this stage, and then at the end, I'll talk about some of the movements that we still need to be careful with. Before I start the program, I want to remind everybody, click those like buttons, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know how you're doing after your Bankart repair. So first, we're gonna start stretching the shoulder gently. It's at this stage, that 12 to 16 week post-op stage, that we can start stretching the shoulder and specifically start to gently apply some force to that repaired part of the shoulder. The key is we don't want long hold times and we're not stretching hard. So one exercise I like using the stability ball is essentially a child's pose or a prayer stretch. Now you don't need the stability ball, but it helps. So you simply move into child's pose basically. Now I'm not stretching hard. I feel a little pull in my shoulder and that's it. And then what I'm gonna do to add a wrinkle is alternately lift my shoulders. Hold for just a few seconds, switch sides. Lift the other arm, even lift the unhurt arm. Hold for a few seconds, switch sides. And again, what we're trying to do is gently stretch the shoulder and start to apply some gentle force to that repaired portion of the shoulder so it builds up strength over time. This exercise is called the swimmer. So again, we're trying to gently stretch the front part of that shoulder that was repaired. Again, the key is keep it pretty gentle, not long hold times, not a lot of intensity. So laying on the stomach, forehead on something, in this case a towel, and you're simply going to put one hand behind the head, one hand behind the back, and then switch back and forth like so 10 times. Now we're going to do a little more advanced rotator cuff muscle strengthening. So I have my anchored resistance. Okay, you want a level of resistance that gets you tired in about the 15 rep range. This is a tiring exercise, okay? So keep the resistance fairly light. Okay, so I'm going to rotate my arm to about this position and then simply reach up. So notice when I rotate the shoulder, I don't rotate way out to my side. I'm about mid-range and then I reach up, okay? So it's a couple step process. Rotate to this position, reach up, back to the midpoint, across. Again, keep the resistance moderate so you're getting tired in about that 15, maybe 20 rep range. Next, we're going to do some strengthening exercises for the shoulder blade muscles and rotator cuff muscles. And again, we're starting to move into the position of the shoulder that applies a little bit of stress to that repair. So I'm going to take light weights. These are 2.5 pounds each. On the high end, 5 pounds. That would be on the really high end for a really big person. Probably starting at more like 1 pound, okay? I'm using my stability ball. You don't need a ball. You can be flat on the floor. I find the ball is helpful though. So laying on the stomach, chest to the ball, you're simply gonna raise the arms up like this, keeping the shoulder blades down. Arms are parallel to my spine approximately. I hold for a moment, come down. So up and down in this arm position for about 10 to 15 repetitions. Then, brief break, you're going to switch arm positions, arms straight out. Again, trying to keep the shoulder blades down, little hold at the top. Notice I'm not reaching way up, only until my arms are parallel to the floor. Okay, up and down, again, 10 to 15 repetitions, brief break. Then, last arm position, arms above the head. Again, only reaching until my arms are parallel to the floor, not way up high. Brief hold at the top. Coming down, trying to keep the shoulder blades down all the while. So again, about 10 to 15 repetitions in each arm position. This next exercise is a bit of a tricky one and you really have to mind the details. You're going to need a foam roller and some band. So you're kneeling on the floor, you're going to put your hurt side elbow on top of the foam while you're holding the band. Now notice my elbow is in front of my shoulder. My elbow's not way back here. That's too much stress on the repair. My elbow has to be in front of my shoulder a little bit. I got a 90-degree bend at the elbow. moderate tension on the band, not super tension on the band. And imagine I got a 12 o'clock position, my fingers are pointing straight up, and at least from my perspective, a 3 o'clock position, okay? I don't want my hand to go backward further than that 12 o'clock position. We're trying to strengthen the muscles that really support that front of the shoulder, but it does get us into the range that can be a little bit sketchy. We have to be a little bit careful. So I pull down to the 3 o'clock position, I come up slowly, not quite to the 12 o'clock position. I can hold there for a moment, come right back down. Up and down 15 to 20 times, so kind of a low resistance but high rep exercise, okay? Keep it fairly gentle. Again, don't let your hand go past that 12 o'clock position as the band pulls backward. In our last exercise, we're going to keep that rotator cuff strengthening going, but with a twist. So we're going to add some balance. So balancing on one leg, I've got 2.5 pound weights on each side. Again, heavy would be around 5 pounds at this stage. So simply raising the arms up. So notice my hands aren't straight to my side. My hands are a little bit in front of me, raising up and down, raising until my arms are about parallel to the floor. Now the point of the balancing is it adds difficulty without adding weight. I can get kind of the sense of a burn, the sense of a workout without pushing much weight. So I'll do about 15 reps balancing on one leg, take a break, 30 seconds to a minute, and then simply repeat balancing on the other leg. I mentioned earlier that I'd go through some movements you still have to be careful with. So although at this advanced stage of rehab, there aren't strict movement restrictions, you still need to be careful with reaching forcefully behind yourself or heavy, forceful pushing. So for example, bench press, pec deck, or like chest flies where there's weight in your hands and you're moving into this position, that's a big no-no. That applies way too much stress to the repair. It's not healed enough to take that. Throwing, anything where your arm is in this position forcefully or rapidly, you can't do yet. You have to be about 16 weeks post-op for that repair to be healed enough to take those movements. So again, be careful with this position, forceful pushing, maneuvers in the weight room like bench press, and reaching behind yourself forcefully. Those are the exercises I use for my patients who are in that advanced post-op stage of rehab after undergoing a Bankart repair. And again, this is usually about post-op weeks 12 to 16. I hope you found this video helpful. I hope it helps you get back to what you love to do. Again, like, subscribe, leave a comment, and we'll see you next time.